If you're looking for professional day trading education and high-level trade analysis and dissection, you've come to the right place. My name is Pat Mitchell. I've been a professional day trader for the past 11 years, and I'm here to bring you exactly that. Professional day trading education you'll hear for free on YouTube and on X. And tonight we're going to be discussing a few trades that I took. One was just an absolutely beautiful opportunity, and the other two were basic trades that we always take and locking in about 55% in about 3 minutes time. And I'm going to show you exactly how that was done. So I hope you all had a wonderful day. Give me 1 sec as I fire up these charts. 1 sec. Okay. So like I said, took a few different trades here today. Very first trade. Well, for a little bit of context, just in case some of you are just joining us, the left-hand blue charts are the daily chart. That's where I develop all my trade plans in the morning. And all of these blue levels represent technical levels that I then, 30 minutes prior to the market open at a minimum, I develop trade plans, and that's what we trade. I do not deviate from these trade plans. Once it triggers on the trade plan, in a live market, I will execute that trade. That's why you see the consistency that you do on this channel. And that's how you achieve consistency as a trader. Too many times traders are just executing trades that they have not prepared for. So that's what these levels are. Now I'll give you an example of the trade plan that we I had developed here this morning. So on Qs, if we open and it pops into this upper level, we will go short. At the open, if it dips into this level, we will go long. Very simple, straightforward execution strategy. And then it is about management. So on the very first trade, part of the trade plan was to start in long, coming into pre-market lows. It's well within a reasonable tolerance coming down into the previous close, especially for a $630 stock or ETF. So that was the first trade. The very first trade opened up and it washed down into pre-market lows. Started in, and as it washes through, I am adding into that. This is a heavily protected trade. Therefore, I know I'm going to be able to get some sort of a reaction. And although it looks very small, it doesn't look like a lot going on here. From lows here to highs on the 628 calls on Qs was about 55%. And that's what I locked in. And then as it came down, so that's the first trade. So execute, pay myself on the way up. As it comes back down into that initial starting zone, I start back in. So that's what I'm waiting for. I actually waited for it to wash through a little bit, get me a little bit closer. Now, as it's coming down, I've already locked in a certain amount of profit on the day. It is about managing and thinking about your risk. So as it comes down, if this wants to keep going and stop me out, I will be red on my initial position. I'm never going to do that to myself. Okay. Once I've locked in, that's what I start playing with. So I decided to stop out, and I stopped out right at lows. Pretty much you can see that. Now you might be wondering, well, okay, well, now I see a blue entry again. You got right back in. Yes, because instead of it continuing down, it's proved to me that this thing does in fact want to come up. It is a confirmation trade. So when it washes through the level, pops back up, pulls back, confirms. It holds that, because then I can simply just risk off of that. Because if it's not going to hold that, it's going to come down into that lower level. So I re-execute the position and then simply work this trade all the way up from my entry down just above 1 all the way up to a little bit over $3. So that's about 200% on that trade from best entry to best sell. Now, initial trade was about 55%, second trade 200%. This is what is possible with this strategy. And I locked in a little bit over $8,000 between these two trades. So now let's talk about other trades. So the trade right after that initial long, there was an opportunity to go short. As I said at the beginning of this is our level to go long. This is our level to go short. Once it triggers, I'm going to take that trade. So even though I'm still in the long position, I then execute the short coming up into that level. Now, I only got an initial starter position on it. If it would have come up higher, I would have added to get my full size position. It didn't do that, but that's okay. That's why I start in coming into that level. Execute the short, run it down into my target. Absolutely fantastic. Beautiful trade on that, locking in an additional $3,322 on that. So then there was one more trade. There was a beautiful, beautiful opportunity. Now, again, as I said, low level long, high level short. And I pointed this out during the live market. Now I'm going to zoom in and stretch this out a little bit so then we can really see what's going on here. So from lows here, it went straight up into that valid resistance level. Okay. I am absolutely going to execute that, because what you have here is what I refer to the relationship between distance and retracement. When you have this much distance, you will get a retracement generally of 50%. Now, that's not my target. My target isn't necessarily 50%. It is back into what I call natural, as a first level of support. And that was my first sell. As it came ripping down into that natural, I paid myself. Now, I'm going to talk about the entry a little bit, because a lot of people, they will get freaked out because it goes a little bit higher than that initial level. Now, we work with risk tolerances. These technical levels, it's never, well, I shouldn't say never, because it often does. It'll often come into that level, bang directly off that level and bounce or reject, right? Now, however, that doesn't need to happen. Okay. And I actually prefer that it goes up higher, because I'm able to acquire a larger position based off of my risk parameters. So as it comes up into that level, that's where I'm starting in. As it comes up higher and pushes through into my risk, I am adding, acquiring more. And that's exactly what I did. And then as it comes down, I pay myself and lock in. That trade, I locked in an additional $6,175. So a pretty substantial day, all in, all out within the first 30, 35 minutes of the market open. And if you want to come learn how to do this and work with a coach that can actually get you there, that has an entry strategy, exit strategy, management strategy, risk strategy, and sizing strategy, come to tricktrades.com. And if not, you want to continue to chase your tail and do it on your own, by all means, do it. That's why I have over 1,500 free video lessons right here on YouTube for you. But it's up to you to put all that information together, and you're going to have a hard time with that. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Adios. Come on. Later, guys.